me see if I can zoom this even a little bit more than 100. Um, one of the things that we did was we came up with some colors that we thought were going to match our site metaphor and our site concept, right? We're working on a color scheme and a color palette. So what I'd like for you to do is either have this open and we can just either minimize it or have it over to the side so we can refer back to it. Or if you would like, you might want to go ahead and jot down some of these numbers for yourself. So, like I'm getting my 8E7CC3 for my light purple and my orange. I don't want to go too slow, but I do kind of need to get you started here. Okay. At any rate, here's where you might find that. We'll go back into the planning, and the last thing that we did, assuming that you did, was choosing colors and font. Okay. So if it'll let you take a look at your work, that'll be good for you to have open. Okay. So I've got mine open. And now, I don't want to go too fast. Yeah, are you with me, Tommy? You found it? I can walk around and make sure that you're finding what you need to find. All right. So here's what I'd like for you to do. Okay, I could type this up on the board, but I think it's easy to remember. Okay, open a new tab. I'm going to get rid of Schoology for the day, and that's where I'm going to open it. And Photopea.com. Photopea.com is what you want to enter in a URL or address. It essentially is. It's a free clone of Photoshop. Okay, and I'm going to show you some easy tricks that we can use for our creating our website. Is that a hand raised there, Andy, or PHOTO photo PEA.com, Photopea. And make sure you tell whoever that you're typing to there on your phone. Can't see what you're doing, Pat. So here it is. I happen to have a downloaded version. It's free, so it's an online version. It might have you like log into it, and I'd suggest using your school Gmail. The only reason it does that is to save your projects for you, but I'll show you. One of the things I'll do is I'll show you how to save and also how to export. And make sure, Jenna and Mackenzie, that if you have any trouble, speak up or click on the chat and try and get my attention. How you doing, Garrett? Okay. So you open up Photopea.com. Okay, and eventually, hopefully you're going to have a screen that looks like this. Are you that far? Sweet. Okay. Once you get comfortable with this, Katie bar the drawer, there's all kinds of things that you can do with it, but I'm just going to have you do a couple. I'm just going to have you do two things. Okay? We're going to make a banner, like a nameplate, and frankly, once you do it my way, you can redo it and do it your own way. Because my way would be like for kind of an old-fashioned website, okay? And it doesn't have to be these exact dimensions. This is a good place to start, okay? So down here, these aren't anything that you click on. These are all the different kinds of formats that Photopea is able to use. We're going to go ahead and click the New Project. Okay, so you click New Project. And it's got lots of different sizes here, right? Social things for Facebook, YouTube profile, for header. So, in other words, you might get the idea that if you do any social media, they have the sizes for you already for you to come up with stuff. You can change your stuff. Same thing. You can do ads. You can do print media. You can do with photos. We would go to screen, but we don't want the whole screen. Okay. So here's some things that I want you to see. Where it says name, it probably says new project or something like that for you. I want you to put your last name and then the word banner. And I don't know if I got to zoom. This doesn't help the girls at home, but now up into that corner. So put your name, I put Mallory, and call it banner. And then just for learning how this works, I want you to notice that if you push on PX, and PX stands for pixels, you have some other choices. You have percentage, millimeters, and inches. May as well leave it on pixels, because we're not commercial art class, we're web programming class. Okay? And I'm going to have you type in some numbers here. 400 by 400 would be square, but we want this to be a long rectangle because it's our banner on the top of a page. So I want you to type in 1350 and 200. 1350 by 200. And because this is going to be 200, not 2000, and because this is just going to, we're not printing it, we can leave it at 72 dots per inch and it should be fine. Okay, so now you could do clear, but we're going to have it white for now. We're going to go ahead and create. Okay, so mine, in fact, has got rulers up here. I think that you can go to View and show rulers or don't show rulers. And also snap different things, whatever you think you want. This is, if it's up here, transform controls would be good for you to click and have a little blue check mark. Over here, these are called layers, and it calls it a background, but it's got a little lock on it, a little padlock. Make sure you click on that padlock so it goes away. Because if it's locked, you can't change anything. You can't edit it. Okay? Oh, sorry. I'm going to zoom back out. I had a little lock it. There's a padlock there. Sorry, so Mackenzie and Jenna probably saw that, but I had my screen zoomed in on the board. Okay. So down here, there's a couple arrows and a couple boxes. Mine are orange and purple, and yours are probably black and white. Okay. What I'm going to do is click on that black one, and then I want to go back and find one of my colors, right? So I want my orange. So it's FF8101. Yours are going to be different than mine, right? I can go down here to the hex and just Control V, and it should give me that same color orange that I had from my other. Okay, now if I switch them to the white, I click on the white now. Same thing, I go back to my document from Thursday or Friday. I want to copy one of those colors I chose. I'm going to choose the light one. And I go back into Photopea. And where it says hex, I place that number. And I hit OK. And that one's purple. So I have purple and orange. Right? I chose those because they're Phoenix Suns colors. They're Arizona Coyotes or Phoenix Coyotes hockey colors. Mountains Majesty, blah, blah, blah. Come over here. On this left-hand side, there's all these tools. Arrow, rectangle select, magic wand. You may have slightly different tools than me, and here's the reason, because if you click on them, there's more tools. a Band-Aid, there's a paintbrush, there's a stamp, an eraser, and you want to get down, and it's either going to say gradient tool or paint bucket tool. Use the top one, the gradient tool. Notice up here on the top left corner, it's got a mix of my purple and orange, or whatever two colors you chose. Okay, maybe you got a light blue and a dark blue, or a black and red. You know, that's all up to you. And by the way, you probably will end up changing this. I'm just showing you how to do some things. So if I have this gradient tool chosen, and I bring my cursor over my rectangle, I should be able to just drag. If I drag it the length of the rectangle, watch what will happen when I let go. Ooh. And maybe I don't have enough purple in there, so since I started on the back desktop, started in the actual there, now I got more purple. It's pretty, huh? Okay. I don't have a name. I have kind of a, it looks like it's glowing. You know, that's cool. Orange and purple, it's twilight. I'll go down here to where I have the text tool. It's like three more. I go blur tool, dodge tool, text tool, type tool. I click on the type tool. Here where mine is green, yours might be red or it could be black. And there's probably a number in here that's not 150. Okay. I chose a green that I thought looked like a cactus kind of a color. You can choose whatever color you want. You want it white, you want it black, you want it red or yellow. Choose whatever you want. Totally lost? Give me a second, and I'll make sure that you guys are all about this far before I do the next thing. The next thing is going to be text. So, you got blue and yellow. Awesome. That tool, the gradient tool. And just bring your mouse over here. Just drag it. There you go. Or you're just using the wrong tool. Ooh, that's funky. So yours is horizontal. That's got kind of a race car vibe to it. You're doing horizontal instead of vertical. That's okay. So, before we go there, let's go to this one, the gradient tool. And you should be able to drag it. Now you can see most of it kind of red. But now go ahead and choose the text. I am wondering, Andy, and maybe I can help you with this tomorrow. I'm wondering if Photopea has some settings where you could make things larger for yourself. Well, now, I mean, there's definitely a zoom in, but okay. So now that I got everybody up to speed, I said I have this text tool. 72 points is about 1 inch. And I want this to fit, my banner is like 3 inches tall. So I'm going to say, 150 might be good up here for text. 150 pixel. I chose green, like I said, whatever color you want. Yellow, black, white, whatever you think is going to show up. And you're going to drag it over your text box. And, sorry, not your text box, but your original box. I got a couple of chats coming on here. Oh, okay. She found it. That's good. If you're looking, so now I have 2 text boxes and I didn't need to. I can drag any of these layers to this little trash can and it'll be gone. In fact, I probably should drag this other text one there too, because as soon as I go to my text tool, it's going to create a new. Okay, so I create a new layer for myself. Okay, and my website is going to be called Cactus jacks. And I'm having a little hard time reading that. It doesn't work too bad with the orange. Okay? But you don't have the font that I do. Okay? Here's the really, really cool thing that you're going to... Photopea has tons of fonts in it. And there's two places where you can go to choose different fonts. One is up here in the top left. The other is over here on the right. If you don't have this, you could go to Window and choose it. But there should be a little tool called Character that pulls out. I said if it's not over there, you go to Window and Character, and then it'll show up. And there are so many fonts to choose from. I had to say, all right, no, black letter is like pirate. I don't want that. Calligraphy, I don't want that. That's too fancy. Comic, maybe. Dingbat, symbols and not words, so I got rid of that. Crunch, maybe. Hand drawn, maybe. On a space, no. Novelty, sure. Pixel, no. Programming, no. Retro, maybe. Sans serif, sure. Serif, no. Slab serif, no. Stencil, maybe. Typewriter, no. You know, and it just narrowed down my choices. Okay, and it puts them here in an alphabetical order. And the cool thing is it gives you previews. You might like Action Man because that's kind of a comic book looking thing. Some of the stencil ones have kind of a military look. Art Bus looks kind of college-y. Annual Draw looks a little like chalk. Right? I found Devonshire before class because I thought it had kind of a 60s or 70s vibe to it that kind of fit when I was growing up in Phoenix. But you know what? You can take your time. I love the comicas. Comicas are kind of like comic book, and they look a little bit hand done. There's some that are just, you want to be careful because they're going to be really hard to read. And you also want to be careful because you want the rest of your website to complement them or match them. Okay, question real quick from Garrett. Once I did a text, right, and I started typing, highlight it, and there's two places I can go. Up here to the left, and there's tons of choices, right? Or over here, if it says CHA, then it gives me the font choices. It also, this is kind of a type style. Do I want it to be italic or bold? Heading and tracking are things I don't feel like I need to necessarily teach you about. But up here is the font. The reason why you might choose a different font is because you want something that you can't get on anybody's browser. So you have to make it a graphic. And so that's what we're doing. So a neat thing, I don't want to get way too far ahead of you. But if you have a name, okay, it doesn't have to be centered. If you want it to be centered, here's how you would do that. Once you have it highlighted, up here there's the left, to the center, or to the right. I like having mine over to the left. Here's something that I think you'll think is really cool. You have to change tools. Once you have a word, it doesn't matter what the word is. It doesn't have to be the name of your website. It can be your name. Okay, you can copy me and have Cactus Jack, whatever. Back up to this move tool or the arrow tool instead of text. Now watch. First of all, I'm going to use this magnifying glass down here, and I'm going to zoom in so that you can see this a lot better. Another way that you can zoom in is a thing called Navigator. Again, if you don't have Nav over there, you can go to Window and choose Navigator, and it'll show up. But use the arrow tool. and I have my text layer, right? Not my background, but my text layer. Watch this. This is fun. Go down here to EFF. Okay, this is layers. Go down to the bottom, there's a link, and there's EFF. And if I hover over it, it says layer style. When I click on that, I can put a drop shadow around it, put outer glow. Let me show you the drop shadow. Okay, the drop shadow it's kind of, well, it's a shadow, right? It definitely makes it stand out. And I can funky with that. I can mess with it so it's not as far away. I can make it thicker or more faded, a little sharp. Or if I go bigger size, then it's kind of soft. It's not so hard on your eyes. I also make it darker or not so dark. I can even, check this out, go to this where it's black, and I can have a gray shadow, or a green shadow, or a blue shadow, or a purple shadow. I can make it anything I want. It doesn't have to be black. Here's the other cool thing. Not only can I do that to a drop shadow, but instead of a drop shadow, I can make it glow, right? And again, I can change the size of the glow or the spread of it. I can make it, instead of white, I can make it yellow so it looks like sunshine. There's all kinds of stuff. I like the drop shadow more. Since I have this drop shadow, maybe I want a stroke. And the stroke is just a black. In this case, it's red. But I can make it either black or white. White is kind of sporty. I can make it as thin as one or almost as thicker than I can't see the background anymore. So I like 2 or 3 if I'm gonna have that. Here's a really cool thing, and I don't recommend this all the time, or do this sometimes. But check this out: Bevel and Emboss. Wow, it makes it look like letters, like it's pushed up, and I can make it a little sharper and deeper. I can make it more like it's just a shading on it, and make it deep and soften it so it kind of looks like a sticker. You So this is under EFF or effects, and if you go to effects, you got all these choices. Okay, so I just have the outline and the drop shadow. You know what I can do? If I go to my background doesn't have to be flat. If I go to effects, I can bevel and emboss my background and make it deeper, and see how it kind of has kind of a squarish look. And I can make it harder so it's more, or make it almost like it's a glass button. Another thing I can do is I can change the angle of it. Make it really sharp. I don't like any of that. But you can, like I said, you can play with that. You can make it look like it's a all kinds of things you can make it look like. Sir, you bet. Okay. Now, here's 2 really important things I want to show you, because I want to show you how to do the other thing fast, and I'm running out of time. But the other thing I could do is just let you play with this and come up with what you're going to come up with either the next 15 minutes or tomorrow. And I can wait and show you the other thing I was going to show you till tomorrow. But there are 2 things that I have to show you. Okay, no matter what. You ready? I need to show you how to save, and I'd like to show you how to export. So here's the difference. Saving is if you're really into it but you're not done and you want to work on it tomorrow, you got to save it. Okay? Because you got to have these different layers and the different fonts. Exporting is when you're totally, finally, completely done. And it's the kind of thing that you want to upload to Glitch so you can use it on your website. Okay, so here's the difference. Please watch and listen. It's being recorded on Zoom, unless my Zoom crashed. I don't think it has. I go to File and Save as PSD. PSD stands for Photoshop Document. I click on that, and it should download it. And you don't have Photoshop on your Chromebooks like I do on my laptop. So odds are it's just going to have a little white icon that looks like paper with a little corner folded over. It'll have your name on it. Okay, it's not going to be blue. It's not going to have PS or PSD. That's how you save. And so tomorrow, if you keep working on this and you want to work in the same one, instead of starting new, you go open from computer, and you've got to look for, in my case, I know it's in my downloads, but I'm going to go downloads where I saved it and find my Mallory banner, and I still have to, right? That's cool. That's what I want. Here's the next thing, though, that you're going to need. When you're finally done, you're going to go to File and Export. So New, Open, 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 Publish, Save, Save as PSD, Export. And the best thing that you can do is a portable network graphic. JPEGs are too old and clunky. They're only going to work on a computer or a laptop. They wouldn't work on a phone. Okay? SVGs are vector graphics, and we're not dealing with vectors. We're dealing with bitmaps, so you can't really save it as a SVG. Save it as a GIF, but then it's going to lower your resolution and won't look as good. So you probably want to save it as a PNG, portable network graphic. It'll give you a preview like this. It's telling you it's 1300 by 200. You want your quality? Sure you do. Okay, you can. I have a roller mouse. Otherwise, I think you probably have to go over here to where it says 100. Probably in its preview, it's going to be bigger than you expect. Don't worry about that. Just hit save, and again, it goes automatically to your downloads. But if I open, now you're going to see the difference between these two kind of file types. And you're not going to want to lose these. You want to keep them on your computer because eventually when we're working, we're going to go to, there it is. Okay. So Mallory banner is Photoshop document. This Mallory banner down here is a PNG file. So watch what happens if I try to open that PNG file. I can do it, but you see a big difference between it and the Photoshop document. So when I open it, it looks the same, right? Except there's only one layer. I cannot change my type. My type is done. Okay, this one's got layers, so I can change my background, or I can go back in with the text tool and change my font, change my size. Okay, so a PSD or a Photoshop document you can change. PNG, it is what it is. I mean, you notice that it opened it as a PSD even though I saved it as a PNG. So I can continue working. I can add another layer and add more text on top. I'm not going to be able to change the text that I had. Right? So, no, I don't want to save. Unsaved work. Yeah, do I really want to close it? I'm just going to show you one other thing. You do not have to do this. if you want to stop paying attention now and just play and experiment and try and learn for yourself, or make your own manner the way you want to make it for it. But I want to show you this one thing for kicks and giggles. It's kind of fun. Um, I want to open a picture that I have on my computer. So you would probably go through your files and find this, or do a Google image search and find something comparable. So I have a nice little picture of a cactus for Cactus Jacks. Use this magic wand, and I click on all the white, and watch. Ow. I don't have a background anymore. Okay? I just have a cactus in a pot, and I can get rid of this shadow too. Now I just have a cactus in a pot. I'm liking that. I might mess with it a little. I might go up here to Image and Adjustments and Hue and Saturation, because I want it to be a little more vibrant, a little more color to it. That's okay. You know what I really want to do is I want to make the cactus greener. So if I choose that magic wand part again, I'm probably going to have to like sit here forever and a day with the shift key and keep choosing it because I don't want to choose the pot, I don't want to choose the rocks, I don't want to choose the pillars. Okay. I could, I'm not going to spend the time to do it, but I could go in here and colorize it, saturate it, and change it so it's whatever color, more colorful as I like. Then what I can do is choose it, and I can just do a Control A. I don't have to make a box around it because the background is clear. And then I go back to my original, and I have to use the arrow tool. And now I'm going to Control V, and I can shrink it so that I can have that on my bar. Maybe I want it, if I go over here, I can move it so it's behind the name. I'll move it around and then move my name around too. I can also even do this kind of a thing where I choose the arrow, and I should be able to, if I right click the effects, nope, used to be you can copy the effects. Well, I guess not. Maybe that's something you can do on Photoshop. Well, anyway, I can add some effects, decide how big or how dark I want them. That way my orange of my pot kind of stands out from the orange of my background. And again, though, every time I make a change, I'm going to have to save. And now I got to know that I got to open number 1. And if I like this more than my last one, I got to export as. And fortunately, it's going to add that little number 1. So whenever it exports it, it's taking a while here. That little picture must be bigger than I thought. Try again. Export as a ping. You know how to add these. Once you've got them as a ping, you know how to attach them to the assignment. And I don't have the assignment in Schoology yet. I have to add that. But you'll know how to do that, right? We can do that tomorrow if you want. questions up to this point? If you like what you got and you finish it, feel free to export it. But if you feel like you're still learning or you need some help, or you're experimenting and you're not ready yet, then make sure that you save it. It doesn't have to be way complicated. It can be pretty simple. But if you want it to be more complicated than what we did today, by all means.
Mr. Mallory,
Yes, ma'am.
are we able to use other Photoshop websites or no?
If there's one that you're more comfortable with that you've used before, and you want to, I'll have at it. I just kind of thought that, darn this. Especially like if you have the real Photoshop. That's what just happened to me. I'm trying to get on Artonia and it opened real Photoshop next to Photopea. But yeah. Because you're sleepy. See if mine will let me close Photoshop because I don't want to have all these programs open. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. Tomorrow we're going to keep working on this, and since this is the banner, what I want to do is give you the opportunity, if you'd like, to make some buttons. Okay, now you don't absolutely have to use buttons. The other thing you could do is you can play with this to make any kind of graphics that you want. Maybe you want a logo. Maybe you want a picture of a fictional character that represents your company. Maybe you want some examples of your goods or services. So basically this week, next week we'll start coding. But this week, since it's a shortened week, 4 days, I want you to be able to play around with Photopea and come up with what you can come up with, because there's things that you'll upload to Glitch and then you'll be able to use on your own personal website. So you're not making cosmetic, you're not making roller coaster theme park, you're not doing something for Mr. Dubé's chemistry class. You're going to be making the website that you've been planning all of March. So if there's nothing else, I will let Jenna and Mackenzie go. And I'll let you guys just keep on working.